I'm absolutely delighted to be here this morning. Delighted for two reasons. Firstly, because of the fact that I'm here, because John Swinney can't be here because he's very recently become a father. But secondly, as Brian has just indicated, as the Minister responsible for the health service in Scotland, I know very well what a big difference improved procurement can make to the delivery of frontline services. I also know that it is absolutely essential for the National Health Service, as it is for all parts of the public sector, to continue to make improvements in how we procure. And it's important not least because of the very severe cuts to the Scottish budget that were confirmed by the Chancellor just last week. Now, the Scottish Government, of course, accepts that action needs to be taken to cut the UK deficit. Years of economic mismanagement do need to be addressed. But we also believe that the cuts to Scotland's budget and to our capital budget in particular go too far and too fast. Indeed, the cuts announced last week to our capital budget are in excess of what we had previously predicted. Now, we're not alone in our view that these cuts put economic recovery at risk. Leading economists have made the same point. Nobel laureate Joseph Stiglitz described the cuts as wrong-headed. The devolved governments of Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, representing, it's worth pointing out, 5 different political parties, are also united on that point. Nevertheless, we are where we are. So as you meet here today, there is no doubt that all of us in Scotland face a significant challenge. Now, in the medium to long term, that's a challenge that we believe can only really be overcome and properly addressed by allowing Scotland to take responsibility for our own economy, to set our own taxes, borrow and set fiscal policies, to reap the rewards of our vast renewable energy potential, so that faster economic growth and not just cuts can be the route out of the situation that we find ourselves in. But there's also no doubt whatsoever that the current situation that we face demands a very new, a very radical and a very firm approach to public spending in Scotland. It requires a very strong focus on delivering the things that really matter to people. As you know, the Scottish Government will present our budget proposals to Parliament over the next few weeks, and in doing so we will do everything in our power to protect frontline services, to protect hard-working families and individuals across the country, to protect our businesses and our third sector organisations from the worst of the cuts. And in doing so, we believe, and we believe this very strongly, that we can learn an enormous amount from the efforts that are already underway to improve public procurement in Scotland. Much was made about Sir Philip Green's report on inefficiency in UK government spending. He highlighted huge disparities in the amounts that different departments pay for things like laptops and office supplies. And the key thrust of that report was that the UK government basically doesn't know what it's spending its money on, and that it's failing to leverage its size and buying power to get the best deal for taxpayers. These are conclusions that in Scotland we reached some time ago. That's why the Scottish Government set up the Procurement Information Hub, as a result of which almost all of our spending for the past 5 years is classified by buying organisation, supplier and commodity. This shared service gives organisations right across the public sector an unrivalled ability to monitor the effects of spending and to identify opportunities for greater efficiency. Since it began 4 years ago, the Procurement Reform Programme has brought together the public sector and delivered savings already of over £800 million. We're also leading the way in collaborative procurement. Our national IT hardware contracts have saved £24 million since 2008. 98% of the public sector in Scotland, accounting for some 24,000 buildings, is covered by our national electricity contracts. Those save £10 million a year, and even more importantly, they allow for 99% of electricity to be sourced from renewables. £3 billion of orders every year go through the shared e-procurement Scotland service, and no other country in Europe boasts such a high proportion of transactions through a shared procurement service. So I think it's fair to say that we, as a country, are leveraging our buying power, not just in central government, but across the entire public sector. And that is absolutely critical, because every pound we spend must deliver the best value for money possible so that we can protect vital frontline services. But we in Scotland, and this is a very important point in my view, we're also mindful of the fact that value for money isn't just about the lowest cost. Good procurement should always strike a balance between delivering savings, delivering quality, and buying sustainably. Now, public bodies, of course, can't discriminate on the grounds of origin, but they can discriminate on grounds of quality or on ethical grounds. And I'm delighted, for example, that, as I understand it, all of the pork used to cater for this very conference here today has been provided by Quality Meat Scotland and carries the specially selected pork quality mark. So good, thoughtful procurement contributes to economic recovery. Each year, around half of all Scottish public sector spending goes directly to small and medium-sized enterprises, and that shouldn't be forgotten, no matter how tough times become. So I want to, on behalf of the whole government today, put on record our thanks to everybody who has helped us to get to where we are today. You have demonstrated that where there are shared objectives, where we have a shared sense of purpose, where we have local or national collaboration, it is possible to deliver better services more cheaply and also more sustainably. However, no matter how far we have come, we also all recognise that in the current climate there is much more work still to do. So all public sector bodies need to continue to improve their procurement practices still further, and the value that professional procurement can add to that process should be recognised, not least as a challenge function to ensure that decisions that are taken with a full understanding of the consequences, to ensure that alternatives have been properly considered, that there is a budget, a documented business case, and that the expenditure stands up to public scrutiny. The scope of procurement reform also needs to be extended. There have been some real success stories, but there are still some significant gaps. For example, procurement reform hasn't yet begun to tackle construction properly, and that must change now, because there are potentially huge savings to be made in construction procurement. We've seen estimates that during the economic downturn, tender prices fell by as much as 15 to 20%. That offers the prospect for considerable savings, and public authorities across the country need to press hard to secure these savings, supported, of course, by the Government and by the Scottish Futures Trust. As we learned last week in the spending review, and as I've already alluded to this morning, capital budgets across our public sector will fall by a quarter next year. They'll fall even further than that in subsequent years. So it is absolutely essential, and it is incumbent on both the public sector and on the construction industry to work together so that we can find new and creative ways of driving down costs. So I hope so far this morning I've set out for you the strength of the Government's commitment to seeing procurement as an essential part of meeting the budgetary challenges that lie ahead. And it is absolutely vital, and I understand this is a point that has already been made here this morning, that we see this not just as a back office function we must see it and we must embrace it as a key strategic enabler of service delivery and service design and redesign. And the good news is we don't need to look too far for examples of just that in practice. We know that the city, Glasgow, is the next host city of the Commonwealth Games. In fact, where we are speaking right now is where the judo and wrestling competitions will take place in 2014, although I don't want that to give anybody any ideas for recreation later on today. But work, as anybody who knows the city will be all too aware of, is also well underway on the new National Indoor Arena and Velodrome over in the east end of the city. And one of the sessions this morning tells the story of Unity Enterprise, a social enterprise which aims to help marginalised people find employment, and an organisation which won the contract to provide catering at that construction site. We also have representatives here today from BASE, the British Association for Supported Employment. It is Scottish Government policy that every public sector organisation should place at least one contract with a supported business. And that could either be through the so-called Article 19 provisions, which allow contracts to be reserved to supported businesses, or indeed through open competition. And we shouldn't ever make the mistake of thinking that it's all about what you, us, can do for them, because there are some genuinely leading companies that fall under this umbrella. Remploy Marine, for example, who have today donated some top quality life jackets to Able to Sail. To get the most from these tie-ups, though, there needs to be a change of mindset. We need to think, firstly, of the wider outcomes we're seeking: a fairer society, a skilled workforce, a competitive economy, and then work back from there. Procurement can't just be about sourcing a particular good or service. We need to make sure that we're spending money wisely and effectively. We also need to recognise that if we are to achieve more for less, then there will be consequences for the private and third sectors. And so it's really important that we work in partnership with our suppliers. And that's why the Government asked Liz Cameron, the Chief Executive of the Scottish Chambers of Commerce, to chair a supplier engagement working group. Members of that group are drawn from across the public, private and third sectors, and they've done some absolutely sterling work, listening to and acting upon the concerns of those who supply the public sector. So we're currently working to produce a standard pre-qualification questionnaire. That will be a significant step forward in addressing some of the concerns about bureaucracy and duplication of effort in bidding for public contracts. And today we're launching the procurement journey for buyers, which gives clear, comprehensive and, most importantly, standardised guidance for everybody in the public sector about the steps in any procurement exercise. An equivalent supplier's journey will follow, and that will seek to set out in meaningful terms what suppliers of all sizes need to do to bid effectively for public sector contracts. We can't ever guarantee that everyone will be successful. That's in the very nature of competition. But we can make sure that it is as easy as possible to bid for work. Over 48,000 suppliers have already registered at Public Contracts Scotland, and as a result of that have easy and free access to thousands of public sector opportunities. From today, finding these contracts becomes even easier as we're launching a new app for mobile phones, meaning that you can search for work no matter where you are. That will be particularly useful for the thousands of small businesses in Scotland. We'll also shortly be publishing proposals to increase the use of Quick Quote, which is a user-friendly system for low-value contracts, and to encourage the advertising of subcontracting opportunities on the Public Contracts Scotland